Good morning, sir. My name is Kajal Kashipuri, and our topic is data structures in web information retrieval. In these slides, we will be going to see a basic overview of techniques in search engines. Our group members are Akash Kumar, Dipali Tomar, and me. Our contributions are as follows. I have contributed in web information retrieval overview and inverted index concept. Dipali has contributed in index compression, index granularity, and near duplicate detection concepts. Akash has contributed in removing near duplicates, example walkthrough, inverted index algo, and analysis. We will be going to see what is web information retrieval, inverted index, index compression, index granularity, near duplicate detection, removing near duplicates, example walkthrough, inverted index algo and analysis, applications and references. So, what is web information retrieval? Imagine we type a query into Google like best pizza places near me. Behind the scenes, Google searches through billions of web pages to find the best matches for our query. It does this in less than a few seconds because of two things. First, massive parallelism, which means tasks are split across many machines. Second, inverted index. It is a powerful data structure that speeds up searching. Let's see how. Inverted index. Think of it like the index at the back of a book. It maps each word to the pages where it appears. Word list contains all unique words in the documents. Each word points to its inverted list with a pointer pt. An inverted list for each word lists all the document IDs where the word occurs. Example, like we have documents D1, D2 and D3. D1 contains I love pizza, D2 contains pizza delicious, and D3 contains I love ice cream. Then the inverted word lists are for the word love, it is in D1 and D3. For the word pizza, it is in D1 and D2. And for the one delicious, it is in D2. For the word ice cream, it is in D3. So, how is it queried? When you search for pizza and love, the search engine looks up both terms in the inverted index and finds the common documents. It will search for the document which contain pizza and love both the word. Example, pizza is in D1 and D2 and love is in D1 and D3. So both word occurred in D1, so the intersection is D1. Then terminator document IDs. These are special identifiers added at the end of each inverted list. They denotes the list end of list. Why they are needed? When a program reads an inverted list, it needs to know where the lists end because program has to stop. Without terminator, the program might keep reading beyond the actual data. Let's see an example. Consider the inverted list for the term pizza. The word pizza, regular list for the word pizza is D1, D5 and D10 with terminator D1, D5, D10 and 0. Here 0 denotes the end of the list. The 0 signals there are no more documents containing the word pizza. How do pointers work? Each word in the word list points to its section in the array. Let's see an example. Word list like pizza points to index 0, love points to index 3. Single array D1, D5, D10, D1, D3, D4, D0. Here 0 denotes the end of the list. Pizza's list is D1, D5, D10 and love's list is D1, D3 and D4. Pointers are essentially bookmarks that tell the program where each word's inverted list begins and ends.
Hello sir, I am Dipali Tomar and I am going to explain further on our topic. The next topic is index compression. Why we need index compression? Because there are billions of documents available on the internet which generate enormous size of inverted list. We need to compress them to save our storage and speeds up data transfer. We can achieve index compression using two methods. First is delta encoding. In this method, we store the differences between consecutive IDs instead of storing the document IDs directly. Example, if pizza appears in document number 10, 15 and 20, we store the document ID of first document and the differences between the consecutive IDs. Here we store 10, 15 minus 10, 5 and 20 minus 15 is equals to 5. The second method is Golomb encoding. In this method, we further compress numbers, especially the small ones from delta encoding. Here we split the number into two parts, quotient and remainder, and encodes them efficiently. In the Golomb codes, there is a term B. What is B? B determines how Golomb codes splits and encode delta values. It is based on the average difference between document IDs in an inverted list. The formula of calculating B is nearly equal to the 0.69 into capital N into small n divided by F. Here, capital N signifies the total number of documents and small n signifies the number of unique words across all documents. And small f signifies the total word occurrences including repetition. Here, why we take 0.69 as a constant? Because past experiments showed that this value gives the best compression. The next term comes index granularity. Index granularity determines how much information or detail is stored in the index. Example, if we take New York word as an example, first level is document level. In this level, we store only the document IDs. Using document IDs, we use less space and query faster. It tells us about which document has the word new and your, but it doesn't tell about in which document they are appearing together. So it is not efficient for the phrase searching. The second level is word position level. Here we store the exact positions of words in the documents, and it is helping us in phrase searching also. As it tells the exact positions, it also confirms if new is followed by your in the document is not or not. The next term comes near duplicate detection. Here, firstly, we look on the near duplicate using fingerprints. Firstly, we need to know why we remove duplicates. We remove duplicates because user don't want to see the same or similar results on the first page of search results again and again. We can understand the near duplicates as examples like pages with the same content but different text. Second, local copies of a public document. Here, what is mean by the fingerprint term? Fingerprint is a short representation of a document's content created using a mathematical formula. Example of nearly duplicates using fingerprint like document A contains the cat sleeps. Document B contains the cat sleeps soundly. They both are nearly duplicates. What is the workflow of the fingerprints? In this term, the first word comes singling. In singling, we break the document into chunks like a sequence of a particular number of words. For example, there is a sentence, the cat sleeps soundly. The singlings of this sentence will be the cat sleeps and the cat sleeps soundly. These two are the chunks of this sentence. Second, we calculate the similarity. Firstly, we compare the overlap between singlings of two documents, then using a mathematical formula like Jaggard similarity to measure how much the document are same or alike. Second, we measure the near duplicate using sketches. What are sketches? Sketches are small subsets of fingerprint representing a document. In this term, we use random permutations which help create a uniform sample of the fingerprints, ensuring accurate similarity comparisons. What is the process of uh, detection of near duplicates using sketches? Firstly, we generate multiple random permutations of the fingerprint set. Then, for each permutation, pick the smallest fingerprint value using hashing. We store the smallest values as the document's sketches. Then we compare the sketches. Example, document D has a fingerprint 15, 20, 31, 45 and 60. Here we are only taking two random permutations of document D, that is pi 1 and pi 2. Sketches of D for pi 1 is 22, which we calculate using hashing, and for pi 2 is 15. Here, instead of storing the entire fingerprint set, that is 15, 22, 31 and 45 and 60, we just store the sketch, that is 15 and 22. This is all from my side, and now Akash will explain further on the topic.
Hello everyone, I am Akash Kumar, continuing this session from here. So we have seen in previous slide that we use sketching technique to detect the duplicates. So here we have to remove the duplicates. So for each document we store a sketch, which is the simplified set of fingerprints, and compare the sketch to find duplicates. At query time, we search for top 50 results and compare their sketches to eliminate duplicates. And after that we saw top 10 best and unique results to the users. So whatever we have done so far, let's do an example walkthrough. Let's say we have three documents, d1, d2 and d3. Document d1 contain I love pizza. Document 2 contain pizza is delicious. Document 3 has I love ice cream. So we divide all the documents in tokens. So we have these tokens corresponding to all the documents. Now for each document we build a kind of dictionary, like you see right side. I is in document 1 and 3, and similarly love is document 1 and 3. So for all the tokens, what we have divided here, for all the tokens we have the corresponding list which contain in document IDs in which documents these words are. So let's say there is a query I and pizza. So we do processing, searching for I and pizza, and we retrieve the corresponding list of document IDs which contain these words. Here I was in D1 and D3, and pizza was in D1 and D2. So we have to show the result which have both these words. So we do intersection of both the lists, and we found that D1 is the common in both. So we see the result. We show the result as D1. Here are the steps to build the inverted index. So we initialize an empty dictionary. So we saw here that this inverted index is like dictionary where token is the key, and corresponding keyword list is the value for that key. So we initialize an empty dictionary and iterate through all the documents. We for all the documents we do tokenization, and for each token we are making that as key, and corresponding document ID as the is the value in the list corresponding to that. So that's how we build the inverted index. Here is the pseudocode. So we see that we have initialized an empty dictionary here. So iterating through all the documents, we generate the tokens using some tokenize function, and for each token, if the token is already in inverted index dictionary, so we just append the document ID to the corresponding list, and if it is not, so we create an empty list as the value of that token in the dictionary, and finally return the dictionary as our inverted index. So let's see the analysis of the building inverted index. So let n is the total number of documents, m is the average number of tokens per document, and k is the average length of token. So let's first see the tokenization cost. We assume that each word requires some k time to be processed, and splitting the document into words means this is some k time, and for a single document there are average m number of tokens. So we can say that for a single document there is order m into k time required for a single document to tokenize, and for n documents we have n into m into k. Next we see the analysis of building inverted index. So what we are doing in inverted index, we are checking if the token already exists in the dictionary. This require constant time, and if the document exists, if the token exists in the dictionary, we just append the document ID corresponding to that. This will also require constant time. So for all the documents in for all the tokens in all documents, so total token processed will be n into m, where n is total number of documents and m is the average token per document. So thus overall cost of index construction is big of n into m. So our overall cost will be sum of tokenization cost and building inverted index, which is big of n into m into k. So, so the application of this process of where we build the inverted index and give the corresponding documents. This technique is primarily used in Google search engine. It shows the uh, results very fast, and similarly, this technique is also used in digital libraries and archives to retrieve the academics articles, books, and archived materials. And this technique is also used in e-commerce platforms, where they fetch the description, reviews, and specification for a particular query, for a particular product. And in social media platforms, there we also use searching for hashtags and profile names. So there also this information retrieval system is used, and these are just uh, primarily uses of this, and there are many more uses where we search a query and we see the corresponding documents for that. Here are the references to build this slide. We have taken help of the Handbook of Data Structure and Applications, the second edition. Chapter 51 contain this all these techniques, data structure for web information retrieval, and we have used Stack Overflow for finding the examples. And to build this slide, we used ChatGPT for summarizing the text, and WPS Office for building for making this presentation. So that was all from our side. I hope you liked that. Thank you.